was going to say.
Robbie, well, we got you, mate. It's not just the injuries that are giving selection conundrums. We heard the news breaking now that Massimo Luongo, who scored the opening goal in the 2015 Asian Cup final win against Korea, has announced his retirement. Now, we've got a caller on the line who wants to chat about this with you two great minds of the round ball game. Greg from Sans Souci, you there, mate?
Hi, Greg.
Afternoon, gents. This, to me, is an absolute tragedy. It's the creative spark that we've been looking for from midfield for a long time was just coming back. Why pull the pin on it now?
Robbie, you go first, Rob.
Look, I think it's a great point. I think he's just been such a welcome comeback. I mean, absolutely tearing it apart at Ipswich along with Cam Burgess in the championship, and they're looking for promotion. And I don't know what it is. Obviously, I've spoke to Graham Arnold, but I have not spoke to him about Massimo Luongo. And he's been outstanding, and I thought could have played a very important role at the Asian Cup. So I can only agree.
No, I hear what you're saying. It is a tragedy, but I'm going to go a little bit outside the box here, and I stress this. I really am guessing. I'm thinking to myself that Massimo Luongo, who's been playing well himself in club football, has thought to himself that he's not 100% that he's going to be a first like a starter. And this is understandable. People got to understand this as well. And he doesn't want to then go and then lose his place at his club side. So he's thinking, you know what? Maybe it's just better that I call it quits on my international career. I really don't think he will be around, unless from an age perspective, not from a quality perspective for the next World Cup. So I think he's made the decision thinking to himself, you know what? I'm not going to be a number one starter. I don't want to lose my place here where I'm playing so well. That's, like I said, that's just my guess, but that's thinking outside the box. So that could be 100% right or it could be 2,000% wrong.
Boz, that's a fantastic guess because Brooksy's just brought this to my attention from his announcement. He said it was hugely frustrating time to be on the sidelines so regularly, to be honest. There were many points at the last few years where I felt my international career had passed me by. So I think you might be onto something there where he is...
I think, look, I think Boz is on the money there. And he would know, as I would know, as we both know, that we were both in that position even back in our day.
A million times.
Clubs do not, particularly Aussie players, they don't want you going to travelling, back to play games and this. And it's even different from me and Bozza, because when me and Bozza played,
there was no international weeks.
There was, and really we weren't in Asia then. So it was really, our selections were based around, it was very rare we would come back for the games against the island nations. He'd use a home-based squad. Terry Venables changed that a little bit. We did it once. Mind you, we had a lot of fun when he brought us all back together, but we can't go into that right now. But I think you're right. So this, it's a great point. That Mass, he's on fire at Ipswich. He's in the team.
They're second in the championship as well, so they're looking like they're going to get promoted to the Premier League. Yeah,
that's right. And the thing is, this Asian Cup, and Graham Arnold said I've done an interview for it. It's going to be out tomorrow morning on Code. Is that it's been difficult. Arnie said in the interview that it's been difficult to get players and talk to clubs because of the timing. That this was never supposed to be played at this time of year. And for A-League players, just put this in perspective. 8 games they're going to miss of the A-League, 7 or 8 games. I mean, that's nearly a quarter of the season or a third of the season if you look at it purely mathematically. And for someone like Luongo, they're going to miss 7, 8, 9 games. So it's a massive chunk. And if you're gone for 7 or 8 games, I can tell you, if the team's winning when you're gone and the guy in your spot's playing well, you're not getting back in the team.
100%. And just comes back to what Arsene Wenger said, I think it was about 18 months ago, about everyone really needs to sit down and really have a look of perhaps saying January and June, no club football around the world. This is where you can have your tournaments because it is. And, if you're talking about Australian players, and we want as many of our players to be playing with the big clubs and the big leagues or whatever, but you know how much it takes away from the value when you're a manager. If I'm there, if Robbie is my assistant manager and I'm there and Robbie goes to me, I've got this player from Australia. I'll go, I'm going to miss him for 8 games. So you know what? Look again. look again, because you might want to bring him it undermines the value. And you look at some of these teams are going to be missing players. I mean, the African Cup of Nations, they have that every 2 years at this time of the year. Something's got to be done. You've seen the injuries as well worldwide. People don't understand it's not so much the playing, but the travel. When you have to travel across 10, 12 time zones and then play in different weather and different conditions, then go back to the middle of winter, especially for outfield players, and if you get injured, like Robbie says, and you are from one of the so-called lesser nations, that's changing slowly, but we're still considered that in a lot of, and until we get to World Cup semi-finals or even win a World Cup, that'll be the case, no problem. Then people start saying, well, hang on a minute, is this worthwhile? Is this worthwhile having so-and-so from Australia when I'm going to miss him for 8 games, he comes back, he's injured? Why don't I just go and get somebody from Belgium, somebody from or even better, somebody from Ipswich, a local boy who I know I'm going to have all the time. It's something that really needs to be sat down and sorted out by the powers that be.
That's because it's been a long time in the making, all this. And I remember and again, I don't want to talk about myself here, but it happened to me all that time ago when I was at Southampton. I remember the 97 campaign, Terry Venables took us for 6 weeks playing the Island Nations, then we played New Zealand, then we went home, and then we come and played, obviously it ended up with Iran, and then straight after the Iran game, we didn't win, and then we went to the Confederations Cup in January. I remember getting back after the Iran, debacle, as we would put it, me and Bozza, that Dave Jones, the manager of Southampton, received a fax saying, I had to go to the Confederations Cup in January, and he said, why? He actually wrote about it in the match day program before a game, saying that we pay Robbie's wages, and this is just out of order. That da. And anyway, I got back from the Confederations Cup, and basically he said to me, well, you can leave. And I pretty much said,
Well, and for those who are not familiar with football listening, I'll give you an example. We just spoke about before, Robbie, about the IPL, the Indian Premier League, Big Bash. $4.3 million was bid for Mitchell Starc.
Yep.
So can you imagine Mitchell Starc then just turns around now and says, oh, by the way, out the 18 games, I'm going to be missing for 9. You know what they're going to say, aren't they, next time? They're going to go, yep, no problem. We're going to get somebody else. See you later, mate. No worries, yeah?
Well,
exactly.
We don't want to say see you later, mate, but we do need to say see you later, mate, Robbie Slater, because we're running right out of time.
There's a podcast called Quickly Kevin in London. I'll make this quick, and obviously it's a West Ham podcast. And, this is now my claim to fame. And I only found it out about a year and a half ago, and it's quite popular, this podcast, but every time they say goodbye to a guest, they say, see you later, Robbie Slater.
Well, that's exactly what we're doing. Thanks very much. We'll read your article in Code Sport tomorrow. Robbie Slater there.
Guys. Cheers.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks for joining us on the run home. We are almost out of time. Stick around, though, on SEN, because next it's Sports Day with Sats and Jace Matthews. They got their guest, Jay Opataya, who I believe they're going to pass on your message that you reckon you can take him. Then it's BBL 13 back tonight. Perth Scorchers and the Hobart Hurricanes.
What weight is he?
I don't know. I reckon he's a pretty good fighter, though. Scorchers, Ashton Turner and Joe Richardson, fresh off their IPL draft selections. Let's see how they go. Now, tomorrow on the run home, though, you've got Joel and the Professor. They're going to be chatting to Kirsten Beaver. Thunderstar Cam Bancroft will be having a chat too. And they've got Wallabies legend Matt Giddo. But that's going to be us done. Thank you, Boz. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks, Brooksy. Thanks, Barney. Thanks, Gibbo. I wish we had more time to talk. All these texts, I feel terrible not reading out all these texts out and all those phone calls we had, mate.
We'll do it for the podcast. Well,
text them to me and I will. But text them through and I'll tweet them back. I will.
That is the run home.
Take a picture of the text and send them to me and I'll do it. I will.
We'll do it. All right. That is the run home for your Wednesday.
See you later, mate.
Thanks, Boz. See you, mate.
This has been The Run Home with Joel and Fletch. Subscribe to the show on social media